It is the first Friday of June. You walk into the grocery store, and the produce section is lined with pineapples. Spiky, rough, intimidating, $4 each. You pick one up by its prickly green crown, and you have absolutely no idea what you are looking for. You squeeze the hard rind. You stare at the green skin, hoping it will somehow speak to you. The teenage clerk restocking the shelves does not know either, so you grab the largest one, put it in your cart, and carry it home. Saturday morning, you take a heavy kitchen knife, hack away the thick skin, carve out the hard center, and take your first bite. It is pale, sour, sharp, and it burns your tongue. $4 completely wasted. Now I want you to sit with this for a moment. There is no luck in picking a sweet, juicy pineapple. There never was. Every careful homemaker and every wise farmer's wife once knew how to look at a pile of tropical fruit, shipped from thousands of miles away, and pick the sweetest one in the bin. They had a small set of tests. They did those tests before they ever paid $1. And not one of those tests is hard. Not one of them costs anything. They also knew how to respect that fruit once it came into the kitchen. So not a single ounce of sweet flesh, medicinal core, flavorful skin, or living crown was wasted. Any person watching this video can learn these old, natural rules in 10 minutes and never again bring home a sour, tongue-biting disappointment. I am Daniel Yoder. I am Amish, and I farm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Now I know what you might be thinking. Amish farmers do not grow tropical pineapples in the cold winters of Pennsylvania. And you are right. But our community buys them by the hundreds at the summer produce auctions. My wife, Rebecca, spends the warm months preserving, canning, feeding our large family, and putting food away in glass jars for the winter. When you are buying 50 pineapples at a time with hard-earned money, you learn very quickly how to read the fruit. You cannot afford a single sour one. You cannot afford to waste a single edible ounce. Rebecca learned how to read a pineapple from the older women in our community. Women who learned it from a lifetime of careful, frugal living. Today, I am going to walk you through the 4 tests of nature for picking a perfect pineapple. More importantly, I am going to share the quiet kitchen secrets that allow you to use nearly every part of this magnificent fruit. No waste, no sour bites. But before I give you the tests, I must break the biggest lie the modern grocery store has ever allowed you to believe. It is a lie of omission, and it costs families millions of dollars in wasted fruit every year. The supermarket chains have allowed you to think that a pineapple will ripen on your kitchen counter. They pile hard, green pineapples in the bins, knowing you will take one home, set it beside your bananas, and wait for a miracle. Here is the unbending truth of nature. A pineapple does not ripen after it is picked. It is what scientists call a non-climacteric fruit. Think of a peach or a tomato. Those fruits have starches stored inside them. Even after they are picked, they continue converting that starch into sugar, growing sweeter on the windowsill. A pineapple has no such reserve. Its entire supply of sugar comes from the thick stem, connecting it to the earth and the mother plant. The moment the farmer swings his machete and cuts that stem, the sugar factory closes forever. The amount of sugar inside that pineapple, on the day it was harvested, is the exact amount of sugar it will have on the day you eat it. If you leave a green pineapple on your counter for a week, it may turn yellow. It may become softer. It may even begin to smell fermented. But it will not gain 1 grain of new sugar. It is only aging breaking down and moving toward rot. The sweetness you buy at the store is the maximum sweetness you will ever get. Therefore, you must buy a pineapple that was allowed to stay on the plant until the sun finished its work. Here is how you read the fingerprints of the sun. Test number 1. Bottom-up gold. When you walk up to a display of pineapples, the first thing your eye should track is the color, but you must know where to look. A pineapple ripens from the bottom up. The sugar travels from the base, where the stem once connected to the plant, and slowly moves upward toward the leafy crown. What you are looking for is a rich, deep, honeyed gold color creeping up from the bottom of the fruit. You want that golden sunshine color to reach at least halfway up the sides. If the entire pineapple is dark green from top to bottom, walk away. That fruit was cut too early. It will be sour, acidic, and fibrous. If you find one that is golden yellow from the absolute bottom to the very tips of the top leaves, be careful. It may be overripe and bordering on fermented. The perfect pineapple has a sturdy green crown, maybe a little green near the top shoulders, and a glowing golden yellow base that covers the bottom half or 2/3 of the fruit. The more gold you see at the base, the more time that fruit spent drinking in the tropical sun. Test number 2, the flat eyes. Look closely at the rough, diamond-shaped patterns covering the outside of the pineapple. Most folks just call it the skin. Some even call them seeds. But they are not seeds. A pineapple is actually a cluster of many individual berries fused together around a central core. Each one of those diamond shapes is the remnant of a single flower that once blossomed on the plant. We call them the eyes of the fruit. And those eyes are a beautiful record of maturity. On an unripe pineapple, the eyes are small, tight, sharp, and spiky. They stick out like little raised fists. The flesh inside has not fully expanded. But as a pineapple hangs on the plant and fills with sweet, heavy juice, the volume of that liquid pushes outward against the rind. The eyes stretch. They become wider, flatter, and smoother. When you run your hand down the side of a truly ripe pineapple, it should not feel hostile and spiked. It should feel more open, more stretched, more developed. Look for wide, flat diamonds. That means the fruit is full of water and sugar. Tight, spiky diamonds mean the fruit is dry, young, and underdeveloped. Test number 3, the weight of water. Pick up one pineapple in your hand. Then find another pineapple in the bin that looks about the same size, and pick that one up too. Ripe, well-developed pineapple should feel surprisingly heavy for its size. It should feel dense, like a water balloon, ready to burst. The flesh inside a ripe pineapple is packed with water and dissolved sugars. A light pineapple is a warning. If it feels hollow or airy, either it was picked too early and never developed its juices, or it has been sitting in cold storage for too long, slowly losing moisture to the dry refrigerated air. Either way, a light pineapple means pale, woody, disappointing flesh. Heavy is always better. The heavy fruit is the one holding the treasure. Test number 4, the scent and the snap. This is the final confirmation. This is the tiebreaker that separates a good shopper from a master. Turn the pineapple upside down and bring the flat base, the place where it was cut from the plant, up to your nose. Close your eyes and take a slow breath. A perfectly ripe pineapple will give off a magnificent perfume. It should smell like honey, tropical nectar, and bright fruit. If you smell nothing at all, only the faint dry scent of leaves or cardboard, set it back. It is not ready, and because it has already been cut, it never will be. If you smell a sharp, vinegary, acidic smell, almost like old beer or nail polish remover. Set it back immediately. That fruit is overripe and has started to ferment inside its own skin. The smell must be purely sweet and inviting. And while we are holding it, let me correct a terrible piece of advice that has been floating around the internet for years. People will tell you to pull a leaf from the top of the green crown. They say if the leaf comes out easily, the pineapple is ripe. That is not the whole truth. If a leaf falls out effortlessly like a loose tooth, the crown may already be starting to rot. A fresh, ripe pineapple should have healthy, vibrant green leaves. When you tug firmly on one of the inner leaves, it should offer a little resistance before giving way with a crisp, clean snap. That snap tells you the plant still has structure, freshness, and life. If you spend 90 seconds checking the bottom-up gold, the flat stretched eyes, the heavy weight, and the sweet scent at the base, you will never bring home a bad pineapple again. You will walk past the green, spiky, lightweight, scentless rocks that everyone else throws into their carts. And you will find the heavy, golden, fragrant masterpiece. Now, I want to talk about what happens after you bring that beautiful fruit home, because this is where the modern world goes terribly wrong. This is the quiet kitchen secret my wife Rebecca uses to create the sweetest pineapple our children have ever tasted. I call it the gravity of sugar, the upside-down trick. Remember how I told you? The sugar travels from the earth, through the stem, and into the base of the fruit. Because of that natural pipeline, the bottom of every pineapple is sweeter, softer, and more concentrated with syrup than the top near the leaves. If you cut a pineapple right away, the person who gets the bottom slices gets the honey. The person who gets the top slices gets the tartness. Nature is unbalanced. But you can fix that with patience. When Rebecca brings a pineapple home, she cuts off the leafy crown. Then she flips the whole pineapple upside down, places it on a small plate, and sets it in the refrigerator for 24 hours before cutting into it. Why? Gravity. Over a day and a night, the dense sugary juice concentrated near the base slowly travels through the flesh and sweetens the upper half. By the next day, the sugar has distributed more evenly. Every bite, from top to bottom, becomes sweeter, juicier, and more balanced. It is a tiny, effortless trick, but it changes the entire eating experience. And that brings us to the cutting. If you want to lower your grocery bill, waste less, respect the earth, and run a steadier home, you must stop throwing away good food. Inside our Amish home savings community, we talk often about leaks in a household budget. One of the biggest leaks is how people butcher fruit. The stores want to sell you those shiny stainless steel pineapple cores. You chop off the top, twist the metal cylinder down the middle, and pull out a perfect spiral of fruit. It looks convenient. But what they do not tell you is that those fixed-size metal rings leave behind some of the sweetest flesh, clinging to the inside of the rind. They also punch out and discard the core completely. You may be throwing away a large portion of the fruit you just paid for. Other folks take a heavy knife and hack away thick vertical slabs of skin, cutting deep into the flesh just to remove the brown eyes. Again, a great waste of the best part of the fruit. There is an older, better way. Some call it the Asian diagonal cut. We just call it the respectful way. Take your knife and slice off the top and bottom. Stand the pineapple upright. Instead of cutting deep slabs, run your knife just barely under the rough outer skin, removing paper-thin sheets. Yes, this will leave the fruit covered in little brown prickly eyes. That is fine. Look closely. You will notice those brown eyes run in continuous, diagonal spiral lines around the fruit. Nature loves geometry. Take a small, sharp paring knife and make a shallow, angled V-shaped trench along one diagonal line, lifting out an entire row of eyes in one long strip. Follow the spirals all the way around. When you are done, the pineapple will look like a carved piece of golden art. More importantly, you have removed the tough, inedible eyes while preserving the sweet golden flesh just beneath the skin. It takes 2 extra minutes, but it honors the fruit and stretches your dollar. Finally, we must talk about the core and the skin. The greatest tragedy in the modern kitchen is how quickly people throw away the pineapple core. They cut it out because it is firmer and more fibrous than the outer flesh. Then they toss it into the garbage. Please do not throw the core away. The core is the medicine cabinet of the plant. It contains the strongest concentration of an enzyme called bromelain. Bromelain helps break down proteins, which is why pineapple can make your stomach feel lighter after a heavy meal. It is also known for supporting digestion and soothing inflammation in the body. When Rebecca cuts a pineapple, she saves the core. She chops it into small cubes and freezes them. In the morning, she drops those frozen core cubes into the blender with berries for the children. The blender breaks down the fiber, and the family receives the benefits without having to chew through the toughness. If you do not have a blender, you can boil chopped pineapple core with ginger to make a soothing digestive tea. You can even chew the core like natural sugar cane. Swallow the sweet enzyme-rich juice and spit out the dry fiber. It is a gift for your health. Do not throw it in the compost. Even the thick, prickly skins have value. If you bought an organic pineapple, wash the skins well, place them in a large pot with cinnamon, cloves, and a knob of ginger, and boil them for an hour. The water will turn amber, pulling out the remaining sweetness and flavor trapped in the rind. Strain it, chill it, and you have a refreshing tropical tea that costs almost nothing. In some cultures, people add a little brown sugar to those skins and let them ferment for a few days to make a fizzy probiotic drink called tepache. The possibilities open up when you stop seeing things as trash and start seeing them as resources. Even the leafy crown can be used. Rebecca takes that spiky top, peels away the bottom leaves to expose the tiny brown root nodes, and sets it in a shallow glass of water on the windowsill. Within a few weeks, delicate white roots reach down into the water. Plant it in a pot with good soil, keep it warm, and with patience that crown can become a new pineapple plant. That is the full cycle of respect. The honest math of a household is plain. A family that buys 3 pineapples a month at $4 each spends nearly $150 a year on this one fruit. If you buy green, sour pineapples because you do not know the tests, if you cut away too much flesh because you are in a hurry, and if you throw away the core, skins, and crown, you are setting hard-earned money on fire. You are paying for 100% of the fruit, but your family is only benefiting from part of it. Once you know the 4 tests of nature and the quiet kitchen secrets of preservation, every dollar becomes more valuable. You stop the leaks. You stretch the groceries. You run a wiser home. So here is what I want you to do this weekend. Walk into your local grocery store or farm stand. Walk past the shiny gadgets. Stand in front of the pile of pineapples and take 2 minutes to read the fingerprints of nature. Look for the bottom-up honey gold. Look for the wide, flat, stretched-out eyes. Compare the weight in your hands and find the dense, water-filled treasure. Turn it over and breathe in the sweet perfume at the base. Check for the crisp, clean snap of the leaf. Bring the best one home. Cut off the crown. Flip the pineapple upside down on a plate in your refrigerator. Let the gravity of sugar do its quiet work overnight. The next day, stand at your counter and carve the skin gently. Follow the diagonal lines. Save the core for your health. Boil the skins for tea. Root the crown if you want to watch patience become fruit. Then call your family into the kitchen and hand them a slice of the brightest, sweetest, most balanced pineapple they have ever tasted. Watch their eyes widen. They will never let you buy a sour pineapple or use a wasteful metal corer again. And the next time you go to the market, your children may start doing the tests with you. They will smell the base. They will check the eyes. They will feel the weight. That is how old knowledge comes back from the brink of being lost. That is how a tradition of respect is rebuilt, one family at a time. Tell me in the comments below, which of these secrets surprised you most? Had you ever heard of the upside-down trick to distribute the sugar? Did you know about the hidden power of the core? And if your mother or grandmother had her own way of using the leftover parts of a fruit, her own recipe for tea, preserves, syrup, or vinegar, please share it. Those little family tricks are exactly the kind of profound knowledge that gets lost when nobody writes it down. I sit at my table and read every single one of your comments. Next time, since we have been speaking of how to read the fruits you bring into your home, I am going to show you the old way of picking a perfect, meltingly sweet mango. We will talk about sap lines, gentle pressure, the blush of the skin, and the hidden signs that tell you when the stone inside has finally let go of the flesh. It is the natural next step in our series of reading the harvest. Subscribe to the channel or join our newsletter so you do not miss it. Until then, look for the bottom-up gold. Listen for the crisp snap of the leaf. Feel the heavy weight of the water. Honor the core. And always remember that the sun, the soil, and the hands of the farmer thousands of miles away wrote a long, beautiful love letter on every good pineapple they ever grew. You do not need luck to enjoy it. You just have to know how to read.